There's a promise at the heart of American work. You give your best, and in return, you get stability and a future. For years, FedEx embodied that promise. A job you could build a life on. But beneath the surface, that promise was quietly shattered. Since 2022, FedEx has been erasing its people. Over 100,000 jobs gone, not in a single blow, but through a slow, silent purge. While we tracked our packages, FedEx was cutting the very workforce that built its empire. Take Miguel Alvarez, a warehouse supervisor with 15 years of service. One morning he was told his job was gone, 2 weeks' pay, health insurance gone by month's end. His loyalty meant nothing in the face of a new corporate logic. Miguel's story is just one among thousands. Drivers, warehouse staff, part-timers, all deemed expendable. They were the hands and feet of FedEx, now cast aside for the sake of shareholder value. This wasn't about poor performance, it was about a colder, more ruthless bottom line. The promise was broken, and the silence that followed was deafening. The people who built FedEx were left behind, casualties of a new era, and the company moved on, leaving a trail of shattered lives in its wake. How does a giant like FedEx lay off 100,000 people without a national outcry? Simple, you do it quietly, in small, calculated waves. Instead of mass firings, they trimmed hundreds here, a few hundred there, always just under the legal threshold that would trigger the WARN Act. No headlines, no protests. Just a series of local tragedies, each too small to make national news. This piecemeal approach kept the layoffs out of the spotlight and the workforce divided. Employees got little notice, minimal severance, and no time to organize or fight back. One day you had a job, the next you were out, left to navigate unemployment alone. The strategy was coldly effective: keep the story fragmented, keep the workers isolated. By the time the true scale became clear, it was too late for anyone to stop it. FedEx's method was a masterclass in corporate evasion, avoiding accountability while inflicting maximum damage. The victims were left shell-shocked, scattered, and powerless. The company's image stayed intact, even as its people disappeared, and the world barely noticed. Piece together the local news, and the scale of FedEx's cuts is staggering. Over 100,000 jobs vanished, part-timers, temps, contractors, gone without a trace. In Texas, Georgia, North Carolina, hundreds lost jobs in single days. Entire facilities shuttered in Colorado, Ohio, Mississippi. In Kentucky, the last drop-off center closed with no warning, severing local businesses from the national market. Each layoff was a piece of a larger puzzle, a deliberate top-down strategy to hollow out the company and cut labor costs at any price. The result? A leaner, meaner FedEx, built on the ruins of its own workforce. The empty spaces left by laid-off workers didn't stay empty, they were filled by machines. FedEx's Memphis Mega Hub, a $1.5 billion marvel, can process 56,000 packages an hour with barely any humans. Robotic arms, AI systems, and driverless vans are the new workforce. Even route planning and rural deliveries are being automated. By 2027, human involvement in FedEx's core operations could drop by 40%. The cruelest twist? Many workers were forced to train the very systems that replaced them. They handed over their expertise only to be shown the door. Efficiency became inhumanity, progress at the cost of people. The future FedEx envisions is one where humans are optional, and the transition was as ruthless as it was inevitable. FedEx's troubles began with a gamble in 2019, cutting ties with Amazon, its biggest customer. Amazon responded by building its own logistics empire, faster, bigger, and more efficient. By 2025, Amazon Logistics was a dominant force, while FedEx's shipping revenue plunged 14%. As FedEx laid off hundreds in Texas, Amazon opened a new facility nearby, hiring thousands. One company was shrinking and automating, the other was expanding and hiring. The message was clear: the future belonged to Amazon and FedEx was left behind. While workers were losing jobs, FedEx's executives and shareholders were cashing in. During the worst layoffs, the company spent $8.1 billion on stock buybacks, inflating share prices and executive bonuses. CEO Raj Subramaniam took home over $6 million in bonuses as thousands got 2 weeks severance. The top team earned $1.5 billion in pay and perks from 2021 to 2024. The money could have retrained workers or cushioned layoffs, but it went to the top. Executives were rewarded for cutting jobs, not building stability. Workers became liabilities, not assets. The system worked exactly as designed, devastating for those at the bottom. The real cost of FedEx's cuts is felt in the towns it left behind. In places like Union City, Georgia, the loss of hundreds of jobs rippled through every business. Grocery sales dropped, coffee shops closed, and local economies crumbled. For every 100 warehouse jobs lost, up to 170 more disappear in the community. In Kentucky, the closure of a drop-off center destroyed small businesses' ability to reach customers. These weren't just numbers, they were families, livelihoods, and futures erased overnight. The pain doesn't show up in quarterly reports, but it's everywhere. Foreclosures, food banks, empty schools. When FedEx left, it took more than jobs. It took hope. The betrayal lingers long after the trucks are gone. FedEx isn't alone, its story is a warning for the entire industry. UPS followed suit, announcing 20,000 job cuts and dozens of facility closures in 2025. Amazon's dominance and automation pressures are squeezing every logistics company. New tariffs and shrinking shipping volumes add to the crisis. Stable jobs are being replaced by gig work and automation. Human workers are now seen as costs to be minimized, not assets to be valued. The fate of Miguel Alvarez could soon be shared by workers at UPS, DHL, and beyond. The ground is shifting for everyone. The FedEx story is more than a corporate misstep. It's a warning about the future we're building. When shareholder value trumps people, the result is lost jobs, broken towns, and eroded trust. These were choices: to buy back stock, to lay off quietly, to automate without compassion. Without ethical guardrails, technology becomes a tool for discarding people, not helping them. The benefits flow up, the costs are borne by families and communities. If we stay silent, this pattern will repeat across every industry. We must demand more: transparency, accountability, and a recognition that true success is measured by the well-being of people, not just profits.